I have two outdoor lamps. One of them I've already refinished. It has beveled glass and a lot of black paint on it that on the previously, before I refinished it, it looked like this one on the right. You see the one on the right has faded paint. The glass is filthy on the inside. The paint is faded on the top. At the base of the lamp, paint has chipped off of the base of it. And what I'm going to show is the steps that I'm going through to refinish the lamp that's on the right, so it's like the lamp that's on the left. And basically make a lamp on the outside of the house the same as if they were new. In order to refinish this lamp, I need to take it entirely apart. As you can see, the top is the paint is very dry and faded. The glass is corroded on the inside, albeit none of it is broken. And on the bottom, some of the paint is actually chipped off as well as being faded. And on the top, the paint is very faded. One of the first things I want to do, because I'm going to be painting, is I'm going to use some tape and I'm going to protect the wiring on the back from the paint. I'm not going to be painting the back, so what I'll do is I will just tape over the wiring in the back, so if there is any overspray, it's not going to affect the wiring on the back of the lamp. And the same thing is going to be true for the socket. When I get to the socket on the inside, I will tape up the socket so paint can't get into the socket. In this lamp, there's no obvious way to take it off, albeit I know that this bottom unscrews. It doesn't come apart very easily. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to remove the bottom piece, which is held on by screws. Take out the bulb and then I'm removing the bulb, and in this case the bottom is supposed to come apart just by turning, but it is kind of corroded shut, and so what I have to do is actually reach in with a very long Phillips screwdriver and remove the screws to take it apart. When I tried to get the screws out that held this piece onto the top, one of the screws came out easily, but the other screw actually is corroded in and wouldn't come out. So what I did was I bent the tabs down that hold the pieces of beveled glass in to the upper frame, and these have to be soaked in vinegar to get the corrosion off of them and to clean them. And I'm going to take a Dremel tool and just cut this screw off, and then use some vice grips to twist the screw without the head on it after I take the top off. In order to get the screw out, I used a Dremel tool with a cutting bit, and I ground the head of the screw down until I can get it through the body, and then I use a pair of pliers, in this case some dikes, to actually loosen the screw up. and take the screw out, and then I'll buy a replacement screw. Otherwise I wouldn't be able to take the piece off altogether. Also the socket, I don't want the socket to get contaminated with paint. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually put tape over the socket, and that way I don't have to worry about the paint getting into the socket while I am actually refinishing the fixture. Now that I have the lamp disassembled that has the surfaces that I want to clean off, I'm going to prepare the surfaces prior to painting. And in order to do that, I have an angle grinder with a wire brush. I have an actual physical wire brush that I can use as well, and then also a scrubber, a paint scrubber. In addition to eye protection, I'm using hearing protection and breathing protection, air filter, and gloves to protect my hands. So I'm going to now take the grinder and remove as much of the paint as is reasonable off of these, and we'll get back and I'll discuss the painting in just a second. The next step, since I've sanded it off with a wire brush and then wiped it all down with mineral spirits to make sure there's nothing loose and there's no dirt remaining, and then blown around the area to make sure there's no dust, now I'm going to put a light coating of black paint on the parts, and but not super heavy because I don't want it to drip. Okay, I'm going to allow that to dry, and then I'll come back after it's dry. After soaking the glass for the lamp in vinegar, I soaked it overnight. I was then able to take it out, and I was able to wipe it off and then reinsert the glass back into the clips. There are little metal tabs that have to be bent down to hold the glass in place. But after that, I was able to then put the lamp back together with the glass in it. I first painted with flat black, and when that dried, I then put some clear coat on it, which had a satin finish, and it makes a really nice surface after you put the satin finish on. The next step is to the simplest part, which is just to reattach the parts together and then hang it on the wall. And that's what I'm going to do now, is actually put the lamp back together. The final step is to actually hook the lamp back into place. And that's probably the most enjoyable step, because it's just gone through a lot of work. So obviously, after verifying that the power is off, then rehook the lamp up onto the wall. And this is what it finally looks like with the lights on and the decorations on the front of it.